Hey, how's your day? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of I Have No Idea What's Going On With My Life. Welcome back to the Background Noise Olympics. I'm your host, Hey Yellow Fellow. Let's get into today's video.
They call me yellow because the paint is banana, the clip is banana, I'm going bananas. Look, boy, you a bitch. Get your funds together. Look at them. Didn't fuck with us when we was down. Now we coming up together. You can stay in the back because all up on track, we running it up together. You said we would flop, now the gang at the top, and we don't give a fuck together.
How's it going, boys and girls? So as you can hear, everybody around me has decided to completely remodel their life. So I'm going to try to move further away from the action so you're not going to hear the mic being blown up by all kinds of background noise. You guys know what this video is about. I'm currently quarantined at the house. I have to do this video here. So this car is all we have to look at, and then me. So I'm going to go ahead and clean it so at least we have something pretty to look at. Anyway, I'm going to take it away from the action. Let's get into the video, baby. You guys thought I wasn't going to start this video off with a cold start? Oh, brother. All right, guys, car's clean. I'm gonna have to move to the front of my property now because there's more noise over here. Oh, man, I forgot the coolest part about this entire video. So while I was cleaning the car, I found some old detailing soap I really haven't used, and it's been kind of sitting in my garage. Well, I drank some of it. Don't ask me why. I do stupid stuff every once in a while. When I drank it, it gave me superpowers. Watch this shit. Man, that never gets old. Well, it sounds like there's still a little bit of background noise going on, but we're not gonna escape it. You know, I forgot to tell you part of my superpowers. For once a week, I can bring back somebody from the past. They can only be here for 30 minutes, but I can bring back anybody I want. And I figure who better could explain the issues with the Dodge Charger other than past Hey Yellow Fellow. Check this out. Holy f, that was awesome. Hey, handsome. Wow, are you me? Yes, and I am you from the future. Why am I smaller? Well, future you loses the weight. I don't know why past you changed as well. I guess it must be a time travel thing. So why am I here? So I'm currently trying to salvage the YouTube channel that you let die, and right now I'm making a video on how we ruined the Charger over the years. So how can I help? Well, one, because even though I edit better than you do, you somehow manage to pull in more views than me. So that leads me to believe that people like you more, and also because you made the mistakes on this Charger that I have to deal with today. Sounds easy enough. Wow, this new camera is fancy. Do I just go for it or what? Sure, let me get out of your hair. Looks like you already got out of your hair. I can't grow a beard in the future or what? I bet you won't come over here and say that. Okay, don't do that, don't do that. I might have the virus, I don't know. I don't want you to bring it back to the past, you know, butterfly effect and all that. Dead ass? Nobody says that anymore, dude. Okay, whatever. Whoa, how's it going, guys? Past yellow here, yellow from the future. I'm not sure, you know, what this is, but man, this camera's really awkward. I don't really know how he holds this thing, but whatever. I guess I made some upgrades. I'm really digging the design on the car. I can't believe I made it to 2020, but apparently a few things haven't changed, like my neighbor's dogs still bark at the sky. Apparently I'm still an idiot in the future. I don't have long to be here, so I'm gonna go ahead and go over this car real quick for you guys and talk about some of the mistakes that I've made over the years of owning it and some of the things that have happened to the car I have not really, you know, told anybody about. So let's get into this, man. All right, guys, so there's three main things that have happened throughout the life of this car, you know, during the course of ownership that were accidents that completely were a turning point for how the car moves, drives, everything about it, the 426, all of that. I'm gonna go ahead and get into the first one right now. I'm gonna sit inside the car because there's a weed eater across the street and it's driving me insane, but I'm gonna go ahead and pop in here and talk about it for you guys. All right, guys, so the first disaster that ever happened to this car was Hurricane Harvey. Little did I know all that would happen afterwards, but it really opened the gate for, you know, the kind of downhill spiral that the Charger's taken over the years. So if you haven't seen the video on my channel, the car flooded up to like the middle of the fog lights, maybe a little bit lower than that. Well, it was enough to get into the interior. You know, I noticed that dealerships down the street were getting flooded already, and they were totaling Dodge Chargers for barely having any water up to the tires. And, you know, my car ended up getting some in the interior. You guys don't know this, but my interior was fully replaced by me. I had to go in here and gut my entire interior, and I never told anybody about it. I did it completely in the backyard of my house, and I never told anybody on Instagram, YouTube. I didn't go through insurance. I wanted to save some money. It actually ended up costing me money in the long run because my interior is rusting, and there's a few things that, you know, they are not super visible, but they're really annoying to look at. They just bother me. I know they're definitely not good for the longevity of the car, and they're going to eventually need to be replaced, but just looking at them, you know, I didn't think it was so bad at the time. I replaced all the carpet, I replaced everything, and then on top of that, the AC vents in here, you know, I talked to Future Yellow, and he said they still have like a smell, you know, I mean, not really bad, you know, for like the first 15 to 20 seconds when you start up the car, you smell it, and then after that it goes away. But it's like, I don't know what's in these vents, I have no idea. It sounds scary, but at the time, you know, I was kind of low on funds, and, you know, still am. You know, that's a big job, you know, and I didn't feel like going through insurance and messing anything up. It was just a little bit of water in the car, so I decided to do a repair job on my own, and it did not turn out good for me. So Hurricane Harvey was definitely devastating, you know, in way more reasons than the fact that it damaged my car, but in the long run, it's definitely showing signs of wear from Hurricane Harvey. And then there's a couple other things that just, you know, they're not right about the carpet. It's never been the same. You know, I got my WeatherTech floor mats to fill in, and you can't really notice, you know, unless you're the owner of the car. But I definitely know that Hurricane Harvey still moves with this car every day. You know, it's a small little reminder of how crazy everything went, and it never goes away, but it's never fully recovered from that. You know, I guess I could have totaled the car out, I could have done whatever, but I decided to keep it around. It means a lot to me. So I ended up not going that route, and I replaced it, but it's now showing signs of wear, and I kind of regret that. So the second thing I want to talk about is the front end collision that happened with this car. I don't want to get into the details of how it happened. There's also a video on my channel. It's actually in detail of how I wrecked the car and everything like that. It's not a great video, but it's a rough explanation of everything that went down. But I just wanted to show you guys a few things. You can't really see it on camera right here, right? The body panels and everything, they've never lined up the same, and the bumper is actually a different color. I let a body shop take care of the car when it was in a collision, and they could have actually totaled it out, but I chose not to. I wanted to keep the car again, and I told them that, you know, let's do what we can to fix it, which involved, you know, putting some not so OEM parts to cut down costs to save the car. So let me go ahead and pop the hood open. You can see that they didn't do a good job of painting under the hood as well. Watch this. So as you can see, this paint is flaked off. They didn't primer the plastic or nothing like that. I'm not sure how much of this is OEM, but all of this has been messed up by the body shop. Nothing's lined up right. There was panels that weren't sticking, like there was gaps in here. We had to go ahead and super glue that together after the body shop was done with it, and a few extra things that were just so bad. The body shop was working on the car for about 3 months, and there was so many things wrong with it. By the time that I got it back, I just didn't even really want it anymore, and I felt bad, you know, making the car like such a Frankenstein car, but at the same time, I didn't want to see it on a flatbed on the way to the scrapyard. So what I did is I just sucked it up, and I accepted the fact that the car was damaged. Also, the interior had a lot of pieces replaced, and you can tell that nothing's the same in here. Let me go ahead and pop into the car, and like I said, it's just small stuff that, you know, only a couple people have pointed out to me, but like how this should line up and how it looks. Look how it actually looks. It never went back. And I know it's just a couple small things, a few tiny gaps here and there, but it's just so annoying to look at. You know, they put all this stuff in wrong. Like where a lot of the things should line up, they just don't. And I feel like the body shop could have did a better job. But then again, I think there was gonna be a total of like $24,000 to $25,000 worth of damage, and I was able to cut it to about 19 to save the car. I could have got a Hellcat, I could have done, you know, whatever. I don't know if I really could have done that financially. You know, I planned on it, but, you know, some things were not going great for me at the time, and I just decided I wouldn't be able to get another car like this, and I just had to, you know, hang on to this and stick it out. Also, I figured, you know, people like to see a greater comeback with this car than, you know, to see a new car. It's easy to start over. It's hard to build something and make it your own, and, you know, this is my little Frankenstein baby. I put it together. The grill, none of that was OEM. You know, I replaced it with the 2019 grill that's actually OEM and all of that. There was just a few things that never aligned right. You know, the fender linings, all this plastic pieces in here, these never aligned right again because it was wrecked, and these are not OEM. All these pieces in here, none of them are OEM. You know, it was just a lot of hassle, but it was worth it so I could get the car back. And you know, to this day, you know, I don't regret doing it, but you know, it's definitely a mistake that I made. I didn't think about the future, and I made those decisions, and now my car is built like like a Jenga set, just like little pieces, you know, wherever they'll fit. And then my biggest regret, and I know you guys are gonna be like, what are you talking about, is the 426. Now, hang on. I'm gonna get to that. The 426, it was a rocky road, okay? I don't know if you know, I have a video on it where I chose to put headers in a tune on my car. So I had headers in a tune on a 392. If you don't know, there was a factory issue with the 392s and 57s, you know, my year and then older, that had problems with the ringlands coming off of the piston heads. I didn't know that. And then my motor happened to be one of those motors that had that issue, and it flew off. Well, the problem is since I had headers in a tune, even though I took the PCM out and I left no trace, they still knew. And because the guy at FCA watched my YouTube videos, and he knew that I modded the car. It's a long story, but anyway, I got. They you know, exposed me. They told me, hey man, if you can't pay, you can't play. We know you modded your car, and you're not warranted. I had a car that I was financing, and I had to go ahead and get a new motor as well that I couldn't afford, and it sucked, man. I just had like the biggest paperweight on the planet, and I was like, you know what? It cost about $12,000 or so to get a new 392 installed and everything, and then thank gosh for Mopar Mike, it cost a little bit more for a stroker kit. And I was like, you know what? There's a chance that my stock motor could have that problem again, a few other issues, and I go back to stock. There was just a few reasons to switch to the 426, so I did. But having that headers in the tune and having the motor blow, it was a super bad financial problem. I just didn't have the spare funds laying around to just have a new motor. You know, I worked everything out. I'm currently financing this motor. I know that comes as a shock to some of you guys. I'm only 21. I'm not some kind of baller or anything like that. Nobody pays for my stuff, so yes, the motor is financed. I didn't have a lot to pay off of the car. I got a pretty good deal when I traded my other car in. I had a lot paid down on it, so I ended up paying the rest of the balance of the car off because it was more to front the money from the motor than it was to pay the car off. And then I just opened a loan for the motor. No, I can't get my motor repossessed or anything like that. It doesn't work like that. The 426, I guess you could say it's a blessing and a curse, and I'm glad it's here, but there's another problem with it that you guys don't know. Why can this motor never go boost? It's a fully built NA 426. It needs boost, right? No, actually it can't. So what happened is I built it for compression. I knew that fronting the money for the 426 was going to be crazy, and then I knew that getting boost on it was going to be even crazier. So when he asked me, do you want to go full power NA or you want to be slow NA until you have money for boost? Well, I couldn't see any time in my formidable future where I was going to have enough money to put boost on this motor, so I told him to build it full NA. So the compression's running at like 11.5, you know, a little bit more maybe. I'm not sure what it's at, but it's like fully maxed out for an NA build. I'm going to break down like the, you know, the build of the motor and the price and all that in a later video. Everything's fully built in the motor, but it can never get boost unless the entire motor gets rebuilt, and it's going to cost just about as much as it was to build it in the first place. And I don't really have a lot of interest in trying to rebuild the motor and pay that much money again. Not only that, I'm not like racing all the time and all of that. I'm happy with my car. Yes, I wish it was faster, but as it sits, and unless I want to rebuild it, I can't. It's kind of sad, but you know, that's one of those mistakes I made. I would have been driving around slow this entire time, and I would have been saving up for boost, would have been the smart decision. But what I ended up doing is I was like, no, I need more power, I need more power now. I ended up making about like 530-ish, 540-ish when I could have had like 900 or whatever with boost, you know? So, you know, it was just like, go slow now, you know, get fast later, or get fast now and then don't have to pay any money later. And, you know, that's the choice that I decided to go with. So I get a lot of questions if I'm going to twin turbo it, if I'm going to supercharge it or anything like that. Maybe in the future after the motor's paid off and everything like that. I don't know exactly what we're going to do. We'll see how this YouTube goes, and we'll see how my job goes, and you know, just how life goes, and we'll see if we're able to do that one day. But until then, this is one of the recent mistakes I made, and you know, I guess in a way it was good. You know, I have a really strong motor, you know, for the future. It's not going to give out on me. I'm pretty happy with it and everything like that. Let Future Yellow know what you think about all this stuff in the comments and what he should do. But I'm guessing that's the gist of what he wanted me to go over. It's been about 30 minutes or so. I don't want to disappear right now and the camera fall on the floor. So these are all things that kind of mess up the Charger in my opinion, you know, just in small ways. You know, don't get me wrong, I love this car. You know, everything is like 90% perfect to me, but there's just like a few things that have really changed the course of this car over the years, and those are like the three main turning points. But either way, I'm gonna set you guys up here real quick. I hope you guys enjoyed me trying to be chill in this little Future segment and be professional and actually explain what's going on with the car. You know, Future Yellow, I think you'll appreciate it. I hope I explained enough for you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and set you you up here. He should be back any second to go ahead and wrap up this video for you guys. Anyway, I'm happy to be in the future. I'm glad to be here, but there's a few things I got to go back in the past and do. When I get back to the past, I got a Tide Pod challenge waiting for me, an episode of Breaking Bad. Thank you guys so much, and let me turn you back over here real quick. Oh, shit, did he leave already? Oh, god damn, I didn't even get a chance to say goodbye. I guess it's been 30 minutes, whatever. Anyway, I hope he did a good job of explaining everything to you guys. If you like the video, be sure to drop a like on it. If you want to stick around to the next crazy ass video, be sure to hit that sub button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.